business smarts in terms of the experience. She decided to take classes and courses in business lending. She learned how to do minority business deals because when she was at First Star, she was the person who was lending money to black business owners in the city of Milwaukee. Do you believe that real millionaires allow their financial statements to speak for their wealth? In other words, if the paperwork can't say that you're a millionaire, then you're probably not a millionaire. And she also has a fundamental belief. You need to have a couple of $100,000 on hand just for hard times and rainy days. You would actually have to know Dee in order to appreciate that last statement because she's very serious about that. Keenan, if you're going to go to New Orleans and you're going to tell people about me, tell them that you got to have a couple of $100,000 in the bank, personal money, just for rainy days. Wealth is actually the money that you save. She's a big believer in saving money. Remember, she saved her money to start this minority-owned bank. The true definition of wealth is the effect that you have on others' lives, like providing jobs. She's not the only somebody that has subscribed to this particular strategy. A friend of mine, well actually a couple that are friends of mine in Auburn, Alabama, they own all of the McDonald's in Auburn, Alabama. They own all of the McDonald's in Opelika, Alabama, and they own the McDonald's in Tuskegee. So you can't go through Tuskegee, Auburn, or Opelika without stopping at McDonald's and understanding that an African-American couple owns these McDonald's. But the way they got there is that they saved their personal money. They saved their money. And they went to Hamburger U. And it was only because they saved their money were they able to become McDonald's operators. Here are some examples of how powerful Dee Sims' personal savings and experience has spread out throughout the city of Milwaukee. Communication Network is basically a magazine, and this lady has put together a very sophisticated magazine that has gone out on a national basis. This spa, I actually have a gift card to go to this particular spa. This limousine service is a limousine service that I personally used in Milwaukee. The Ponderosa Steakhouse. This is the first African-American female to own a Ponderosa, and it's very profitable. As a matter of fact, if you ever go to Milwaukee, be sure to tell Stella that Keenan Grinnell sent you. She'll probably treat you at the utmost respect. And now they don't serve breakfast there, but I can tell you that there's a mean catfish and grits and eggs that for special events that's prepared. This couple, in terms of owning the IHOP, are very special to me. Fred Jones is the former chairman of the board of Legacy Bank. Fred owns 2 IHOPs in and around the Milwaukee area. He actually owns the IHOP in New Berlin, Wisconsin. And this lady is actually financed in terms of a landscaping operation. As you can see, several of her employees, gentleman over behind her is Hispanic. And so she has actually been able to create an opportunity for herself, but also create jobs for others in the community. The lady that's in the picture with her is actually the lender at Legacy Bank that provided her with the loan. Now, the second type of entrepreneurial opportunity is the transfer of entrepreneurial skills from one generation to the next. Remember, the first one was personal savings and experience. So the second one is transfer of entrepreneurial skills from one generation to the next. Lena's Food Market was established over 35 years ago by Beverly and Lena Martin, who operated their neighborhood store on West North Avenue in Milwaukee. And by the way, Lena's Food is another one of Legacy Bank's customers. Matter of fact, they're one of their largest accounts. Over the years, the store and the Martin's family commitment to the community has grown tremendously. Currently, Lena's Food has become one of Milwaukee's community institutions now, with 6 convenient supermarket locations throughout the Milwaukee area. I have 5 listed here, but in terms of preparing for this presentation, there has been a 6th store that is coming online. Now, the dad gave the business to his sons and his brother, and they took the business to another level. The Martins operate off the philosophy that someone in the neighborhood has to create a business because residents require and need employment opportunities for their subsistence. In the Milwaukee inner city area, there are visible pockets of concentrated poverty. I like to be honest with you, extreme poverty. Therefore, Lena's food is important because it creates employment opportunities and creates residential stability. I'm very proud of what Lena's food is doing. Matter of fact, my family used to own a grocery in Cleveland, Mississippi with 4 other African American families. And so I can understand and appreciate how Lena's food has grown over the years and how it has created jobs and opportunities and made residential areas in Milwaukee stable. Now, why have I focused so much on Milwaukee? Well, one, I'm a former board of director on Legacy's Bank, and so I have firsthand information in terms of the impact that that bank has had on the community, but at the same time, not just the bank, but the bank's leadership. So that's why I started out with Dolores Sims in terms of personal savings and experience, and used the Martin's family as what I call an intergenerational transfer of knowledge from the father and the mother down to his younger brother and his sons, and they have taken this family-owned business to a whole nother level. Here's a very unique entrepreneurial process. I call it community self-help. Now, as you can tell, that's an Asian picture. That's actually a picture of someone who's Pakistani. However, we call him Mr. Hall for the simple fact that he's a case study in a book. And this is not really the person that I'm going to be talking about, but I used the picture just to make an illustration. And his name in the case study in the book is named Mr. Hall in order to protect his individual identity. So, listen to me when I tell you about Mr. Hall. Mr. Hall owns a chain of 7 photo labs along with a firm which manufactures printed mallard balloons. Mr. Hall is a member of the Ismaili Pakistani community, which is a branch of Shia Muslims. Now, this is the truth. I met Mr. Hall, who's really not Mr. Hall, in 1995 when I gave a presentation at IC Square at the University of Texas at Austin during a conference. Mr. Hall put together an amazing presentation. There were like 17 of us that day that testified during this particular conference. But his presentation was the one that stuck with me the most. And let me vividly try to paint a picture for you. Imagine a flight coming into the Austin, Texas airport. And imagine about 7 or 8 Pakistanis getting off the plane. They have backpacks on. They're in short sleeve shirts. Some of them are wearing sandals. Some are probably wearing sneakers or other comfortable shoes. Not looking as if they're running successful businesses. Not looking as if they are at the top of the food chain in terms of wealth creators. But these are individuals who have left Pakistan, coming to America for one purpose and one purpose only, and that's to make money. Always understand that about the immigrant track here to the United States. They're not coming here to engage in our politics. They're not coming here to engage in our social situations. They're coming here for one simple purpose and one simple purpose only. In other words, to make money. So, in this Pakistani community, they go by what they call their religious ethics. And they take these religious ethics and put them into their business practices. Now, in Mr. Hall's community, they have a motto, and that motto is innovate or evaporate. In other words, if you're not innovating, you are not making any significant contribution to humankind. Mr. Hall's Pakistani community believes that it is their right to take advantage of opportunities where many others see nothing but obstacles. Think about our major urban areas here in the United States. Think about here in New Orleans. Think about Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York. Where others find blight, where others say inner city, where others, like what I just said earlier, extreme poverty, pockets of poverty, the immigrant experience is that they take advantage of opportunities where others see tremendous obstacles and challenges. Now, his personal wealth creation story is not just his alone, but it's actually the community success story. Again, go back to those Pakistani immigrants getting off that airplane in Austin, Texas. They arrive as immigrants. They're greeted in social networks. What are these social networks? They're automatically plugged into child care if they need child care. They are